Join me every Tuesday for fun and games and play for cash. That's right. Sylvia Mint, the fun word guessing game is back and you can come aboard and play. It's simple. Just email us your name and contact information and you are in there, baby. Yeah.
Hey, it is Smooth Tim and Larry E, and welcome to another hump day on the Tim's Tidbits show. How you doing, Larry?
Feeling, man, I'm good. You all right?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I see that we're on a little late. You had some traffic issues, huh? Typical Dallas.
Yeah, that's pretty good though for a brother, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Because I know some brothers be way later than this.
Oh, yeah. 7 o'clock means 9.
Yeah, a black minute is a long minute.
It can be a long minute, Yeah, that's a whole different language altogether, ain't it? Anyhow, let's see. We're going to be talking a little bit tonight on Fox under fire. That's kind of an interesting little story. Apparently, you can, even the news network can get in trouble for, spreading false information. So, yeah, check it out.
Dominion Voting Systems has dropped the latest bombshell in its $1.6 billion defamation suit against Fox News. Dominion's new court filing includes testimony under oath from the Fox chairman himself, Rupert Murdoch, who admitted some Fox News hosts endorsed lies of a stolen 2020 election. In response to direct questions about Maria Bartiromo, Jeanine Pirro, Lou Dobbs, and Sean Hannity, Murdoch responded saying this, quote, "Yes, they endorsed." But Murdoch rejected the idea that Fox News as a whole bought into the election fraud lie, saying this, "Not Fox, no, not Fox." Earlier today, former Senator Claire McCaskill had this reaction to Murdoch's testimony.
He's trying to say, oh, these were commentators. In other words, this was opinion. Opinion is saying, Russia had the right to declare war against Ukraine. Lying is saying there's no war in Ukraine. Opinion is saying Donald Trump was a good president. Lying is saying the election was fraudulent. Commentators do have the right to go a little further, but it is not, they don't have the right to lie.
Those are some of our assholes of the week, as a matter of fact, that are getting themselves in deep for spreading lies, And they're all part of the problem. It's, January 6th, too.
Man, it's still funny how they still got this thing going on, Tim.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, it's crazy because he's out of office. We got a brand new president. The president has a brand new set of issues, whether it's physical issues or whether it's governmental issues or economic issues. I'm like, they would not let it go, man.
Well, I understand where Dominion's coming from. Dominion is one of them that doesn't want to let them go because now, they are making these allegations. That's like, if somebody's saying LE Fitness it ruins people, right? And defames your business, excuse me, you're not going to say, well, that's liable. You can't say that. You have no proof that I've ever done anything. I can get all kinds of testimony says I've gotten nothing but great results from LA Fitness.
Well, your personal opinion is your personal opinion. Like if you go to LA Fitness, you have a trashy workout and you got a terrible routine or a terrible personal trainer that did something where you got injured, then you can say that.
I'm talking about your personal business.
Yeah, but if it's just me that's opinion. Opinion holds no fact unless you prove it's a fact. But a personal opinion is a personal opinion.
Yeah, but a national broadcaster going to make that opinion and say things like that. And they got absolutely no proof. You wouldn't consider that liable.
No, they're wrong. For one thing, the news has a responsibility. If they're going to do anything, give us some good, liable information. Okay, we want to get a good
facts.
We want some good
based on facts.
Yeah, we want some good weather prediction. We want to hear facts about stories and facts about anything political, and we want to hear facts about something that's local or something that deals with our neighborhoods and our communities.
Yeah,
So even sports, the news can't just sit there and say sports are rigged or this and this. They can't give that opinion, even if
that
it's
slanted, yeah, because that's your perspective, and you're not allowed. You're not allowed to report perspective. You're allowed to report fact.
Yeah, and they just need to let the thing go with the president and Trump. I'm like, it's over, it's over. They still got these allegations floating around. They still mudslinging. They still doing what they're doing. They need to go ahead and focus on the president we have, and let's focus on fixing the issues that we got now and worry about his help. You know what I'm saying? We need to work on that.
Speaking of fixing issues, and you led us right into the next one. Did you hear they had another near miss on the runway?
With the president?
No, with air travel. Just check this video out.
Among the passengers on board JetBlue Flight 206 as it was about to land last night at Logan, Joe Bisbee and Lily Sternberg, who were returning from a vacation in Nashville.
And then hitting the ground and then going back up within seconds, like you definitely got a jolt, and then nobody knew what was going on.
The Federal Aviation Administration says the near miss happened at the intersection of runway 9 and runway 4 right. Tower controllers had told the pilot of a private Learjet waiting on runway 9 to wait. But then, just as Flight 206 was coming in, the jet crossed in front of its path.
And once we got, I would say far enough up, the plane was like to the side. We were definitely having to take some sharp turns, so it was definitely really scary.
Data from the website FlightAware shows the JetBlue flight suddenly climbing back up to 3,900 feet before circling over Boston Harbor and landing safely. The FAA says the Learjet belongs to HapaJet, a private charter company based out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
It appears that the Learjet took off without a clearance to take off, so that's a problem.
The FAA has not yet said if the jet pilot will face any punishment. Officials say right now they're investigating exactly how close the planes came.
Well, I just hope that the FAA is able to get to the bottom of it and somebody gets held accountable for this. I mean, lives are at stake, and it's not right.
But it should get held accountable, man. How many lives that could have been lost?
You imagine? And that plane coming in that all of a sudden made that diversion tactic, and he climbed to 3,000 plus feet.
Yeah.
That.
What if there's something else coming in? Man, you know what? These private jet, it's probably one of these rich assholes of the week that we need to find out who it is and put them on there. You're like, I'm tired of waiting. Take off.
Rent a jet. Yeah. Why are we sitting here and hassling the hell out of the pilot? And who knows what went down inside the cabin? They did that stupid maneuver. But I mean, this is ridiculous. It's to the point of ridiculous. I'm
just saying, if you got a private jet, why don't you have your own private runway? What's up with that?
Yeah, but look how many near misses we've had in the past month.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, even on the tarmac, it's not safe.
It makes you want to get one of those flying driving cars, man,
Why not? You'd be probably just as safe, even if you have no clue how to drive it. I'm still safer than. Oh, speaking of the airport, did you see where that guy? Where was that? He was bound for Florida, something like that. They found a bunch of explosive in his suitcase today.
Oh, in Florida? And where they found it today? No,
it was on the news just before we came on air, and I was like, "What?"
Oh, that's interesting. Maybe add it to next week and find out what's going on.
Yeah, so apparently it set off some alarms and shit, and then they started paging him. Wait. Larry E to the desk, please. And you're like, uh-oh. Yeah. And he bounced.
How do you actually get explosives into the United States? Don't you got to go through like a?
No, he had it. He was intercontinental flight, so he was bound from. I can't even remember where it was. Quite honestly, it was a intercontinental flight. And anyhow, when they put his luggage, to go on, underneath the plane, it set some alarms off. Blah blah blah. So they paged him and shit. He bounced.
I wouldn't have came.
No, he bounced, but they finally caught up with the dude.
Oh, if I had explosives in my joint, for one thing, I don't want to be the first brother to get busted at the airport with explosives.
I think it was stupid. Why they gonna call his name and shit? You know, right?
I'm like, oh, come on, man. Who travels with explosives, man? Get out of here, dude.
Yeah,
I'm
it'd
like,
be
what, he even on the
interesting.
bottom of the plane, bro.
Interesting to see what kind of a story he concocts out of that stuff.
Yeah,
Right?
how you gonna do something? Well, was a detonator device on it?
No, they said it was just like gunpowder and fuses.
Oh shit!
Like he was making a homemade bomb, or he was making firecrackers. Who knows what was on the gun?
Was it a black dude? He wasn't a black dude, was?
Of course not.
Okay, I'll just say, I like the stereotype.
You know, he's got to be white. You listen to the whole story.
I'm just saying,
Come on, man.
Hey, that's the only. I hate racism, but bruh, I hate it when I do that. I hate my stereotype people. I'm being racist, but I just love to know what color they were. And I gotta cut.
But it is what it is, right?
I think it's funny though. It's like it wasn't a brother. Oh, thank God it wasn't us.
Thank God it wasn't a brother. Yeah, they would have really twisted that one. Hey, speaking of still things going wrong, we talked about this last week a bit, but the toxic waste spilled down there in southeast Ohio, where that train, well, apparently they want to ship the waste out of the train to Michigan, and they're none too happy.
Well, the biggest concern is that this toxic waste, this liquid vinyl chloride that's supposed to be safely stored here at Republic Services in Romulus won't be. That it will leak and it will get into the soil and the water here in the Great Lakes state. The extensive and paramount work continues of removing contaminated soil and testing the environment 23 days after a train derailment released toxic chemicals into East Palestine, Ohio. People living near the site fearing for their health and safety.
One thing that's been made clear to me is that everyone wants this contamination gone from the community.
But where is it going? Well, at least 15 truckloads of the toxic waste is here in Wayne County.
We don't want this stuff in our backyard. We don't want this sickness.
Protesters assembled in Romulus on Sunday at one of the 2 EPA-approved dumping sites in our state, demanding the waste be removed.
This is not any way about politics. This is about the safety of humans.
This is how we treat the beautiful Great Lakes state, by bringing Ohio's toxic waste to Michigan, and especially to downriver.
Representative Jim DeSantis echoing U.S. Representative Debbie Dingell's concerns that state and local officials were not given a warning the waste would be making its way to our state. The complaints forcing the EPA to halt the transportation of the toxins from Ohio. But today, that process will resume.
It said from Ohio. I hate y'all, man. Don't Michigan already got water issues and stuff like that?
Yeah, Flint.
Why would they want to take it down there then? I'm like, Michigan had enough issues. Why would you take it there? Out of all the issues they got with water and stuff, and was a pretty nice state. The Great Lakes down there? Yeah. Great contaminated lakes now? I'm like, come on, man. Oh, they hate y'all, Tim. They like, oh, we don't want Ohio's contamination.
Well, think about it. Would you?
No, man. I'm like, we got enough pollution going on. I wouldn't want it. I'm like, I don't want anything that's going to just damper or put any kind of bad sound or smell or anything into my community, in my state, period. Texas, we sure don't need that crap. We got enough crap going on over here.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Oh, some more?
And that's coming up. But yeah, they do it with what's our next topic is going to be about they put it in injection wells. All right. And so what they do is they, just like when they frack, right? They drill down and they start drilling sideways and stuff when they find oil and sucking the oil out. But if they drill down further past that, they'll inject this toxic waste. Okay, thinking that that's a good place to store it underground, beneath all the other resources. Yeah. So that's what the Michigan residents are saying. Why do you want to bring this crap that, Ohio obviously doesn't want in their neighborhood, right? And come and inject it down underground in ours.
I'm like this, man. Why would you create something that toxic if there's no way to get rid of something that toxic? What happens if
because they need it for manufacturing, they need it for lubrication, they need it for various products that are profitable.
That you find that people use and then discard the trash dumps anyway. So I'm like, you use toxic chemicals to make stuff that people use that actually consume too, and then when they finish consuming it or use it to consume it or whatever they do with it to put on their body, you take that same stuff that you use to make the stuff that people use and dump it in a dump yard after it's been created. So then you're creating double contamination, and you're creating environmental destruction because you're just taking toxic stuff and dumping it, whether it's liquid or solid. I'm like, it's ridiculous, man.
Think about it. Even a plastic fork, spoon, knife, that's a plastic, right? And it has obviously a petroleum byproduct in it, correct? Mm-hmm. And so then what do people do with them? They throw them out. And what is the time period of something like that would be?
It's going to deteriorate.
Deteriorate. Never. What's plastic?
Something has to happen to it. I'm like, it gets blended in with the soil or something. Or
yeah, I mean, yeah, it'll get buried, but it's never going to go anywhere. We'll put it in put it in a landfill somewhere. Don't worry.
Yeah, and then it just recycle, man. I'm like, I ain't gonna lie, I don't recycle like I should, so I'm not gonna sit here and sound like a hypocrite. And I need to improve myself, but
no. I don't do as I should as much as I should. But what I respect to some of these, and I can't remember what the particular restaurant is, they're starting to offer biodegradable silverware. So, probably it's made out of some type of a hard cardboard that you can probably eat with. And then when you're done with it, throw it out, and eventually it'll decompose and no worries.
I'm saying, Tim, they got edible underwear for all the freaks and stuff like that. They got like...
how would you know about this, Larry?
I heard about it. I ain't signed those things. All I'm saying is they got all these other things that you can use for other things that you don't need it for, but you can create a better way to drink some water or drink a soda or eat your food or something that maybe glass or get away from stuff. They can do it, but it's money in it.
Yeah, I think we are very reliant on plastics and some other things like that they're not biodegradable.
And then it kills me, though, how those people will complain. I'm like this. If you're not going to be part of the solution, don't be part of the problem. If you consume foods and use products that end up in the trash, what do you call the trash dump? What do you call that thing?
Landfill.
Landfill. And you just as guilty as the next person that company spilled all that toxic chemical out, because you're not trying to improve your environment, but now you complained about that.
You know what's kind of interesting is, what do they call those? What were those called? Super sites? We talked about that some time ago. That once they get done with them, they'll just fill them up, and cover them up and put like a park, recreational area for people to play. No, didn't we talk about that about a year ago, maybe?
They done messed around and made a big old mountain and call it another greatest mountain. I say ain't nothing but a big old pile of trash they put dirt on, and you climbing up trash.
And what was it? They had some type of PVC or something coming out of the ground that was actually spewing out toxic fumes, wasn't it? I'm thinking that was about. Yeah. I kind of remember when we talked about it. It's been a while ago.
Well, I tell you, people are priceless, man.
Oh, hey, it's all about what you can get away with, and
sometimes
just talking
trash about y'all state. We don't want Ohio holes. I'm like it's
why you gotta pick on Ohio? We don't want that stuff in our backyard. Hey, but look, Texas, you brought Texas up earlier, and I said that leads us right into this, so check it out.
Are injection wells in West Texas leaking? Dr. Zhang Liu, a scientist at SMU, says they are. He used satellite images to find out.
That looks like it got hit by an asteroid from outer space.
And 2 years ago, he used the same technique to show how sinkholes in West Texas are expanding. Now Dr. Liu and his team are at it again, researching the vast lands of West Texas where fracking for oil happens at an industrial scale. At this location, toxic wastewater generated by fracking was pumped underground and stored in what's called an injection well. The site is now inactive. But Dr. Liu's new paper in the journal Nature shows a bump forming over 5 years when the injection well was in heavy use. The bump, or uplift, is about 5.5 football fields across, but just 7.5 inches high. He says the bump is caused by an underground leak.
How confident are you that you have identified an injection well leak?
We are very confident.
Very confident.
Yeah.
He's confident because his findings closely track with other data. From 2007 to 2011, These bars show the growing volume of wastewater injected underground. And this line shows how the Earth rises in step as the amount of underground water increases.
You pulled all the records of how much water was injected and when. And what did that show?
That show the uplift.
The more water, the more uplift.
Yes.
And one more piece of evidence. When a water well gets saltier, that can mean that wastewater has leaked into the water table. And this line shows how sodium levels at a nearby well are rising again in step as the volume of injected water increases. Zach Hildenbrand is an environmental consultant who works with oil and gas drillers.
How polluted is that water that we're putting back into the earth?
Well, it's highly toxic waste.
He says Dr. Liu's technique could help regulators keep that toxic waste from leaking out.
This is absolutely great technology in that we can screen over the entire energy landscape of Texas, for example, very quickly.
The regulator here is the Texas Railroad Commission. And what does it think about Dr. Liu's findings? It says the academic paper you reference is a hypothesis and not evidence that a leak is occurring. But the state can't say it wasn't leaking either because it appears regulators never checked. The Railroad Commission provided 4 inspection reports for this time frame, and each left this box empty. Pressure on Bradenhead. It's how the commission says it identifies underground leaks.
We can really incorporate those technology into the energy industry so that we can make sure that nothing can go wrong.
Yes, we could help you make sure nothing goes wrong, but it sounds like it'd probably be expensive.
Okay, I'm trying to see what's his angle. Is he really trying to help the environment, or is he trying to get paid?
Well, he's just letting you know. I mean, he's just a scientist associated with the university who did a study. Mishap, as all scientists do, you got to do studies when you, or write a thesis or whatever to keep, maintain your accreditation, right?
And then keep funding coming in.
And so, this study that he did, that's what he found over in West Texas, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, anybody that's been through there, that's all it is.
Yeah, and I believe him. I'm like, because if it's a lot of wastewater, what are you gonna do with it? You're not gonna just put it in a big old create a natural man-made lake or something. You got to put it somewhere. And
right.
Like,
I mean,
surprised.
So why aren't we using it? You brought that up the first time.
Why can't they find a way to evaporate it? When they evaporate it and the fumes come up, they can capture the fumes and dissipate the fumes somehow.
Somehow filter the fumes. I don't know, but still.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, still, I have no idea. I mean, it could be a scientific method, as we, alkalides water, and, alkalides and the acids neutralize each other, right? So. Yeah.
And water evaporates. So if it's wastewater, it's wastewater. But
who knows?
Guess what? It's going to cost them money. They probably want to spend it. They want to keep making money off that oil. And that's how it is.
And that's why we'll leave that little box unchecked.
Yeah, greedy. We got 4 reports. The Railroad Commission is in charge. Right there, that's when you know something is fishy because they're not going to let no money. The railroad
Wait a minute.
Been around too long.
We just slammed the railroad how many times?
Man, it slammed itself too. That's why it's got chemicals all over Ohio, and then the Michigan's people like, don't bring that shit down here. Railroads are scams. They're trying to make money and get rich. They don't care about the people. They don't care about the environment.
No, they
care
don't.
About their personal environment, which is their houses and their big bank accounts. That's their environment. So.
Speaking of railroads, just take a moment. Is I don't know if you had heard, Larry, but anyhow, our hearts and prayers are going out to, the people in Greece. They had a rail disaster where 2 high-speed trains collided with passengers on board. Shit. They had 40 plus people killed. I don't know how many was injured, but in any regards, wow. Again, something, rail safety, something that we need to, especially with the amount of transportation we rely on, whether it be on train, in the air or in our cars. We need, to start thinking more safety conscious in a lot of different ways. Sometimes I don't even know what's on me on the road, in these semi-trucks. I don't know what they're hauling.
They say things happen in threes. So now you got what? The first chemical train thing, that train wreck, and then I got Railroad Commission on count. But damn, yeah, my heart goes out to them people. I thought you were gonna talk about the black grandmother that found the $50 and got jumped by the three white youngsters grocery store. You saw that shit?
No, I didn't see that.
Pull that up, and that's gonna be my nomination for next week. You got to pull that up.
You had to send it to me.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
Anyhow, on to some happy things. I would like to wish my big sister a happy birthday, and I would like to wish Queen Sylvia a happy birthday this coming Friday. So, happy birthday.
What's up, big sis? Tim, big sis, and what's up, Queen? Happy birthday. Yeah. Got another one.
Yep. And, hey, brings us into the next topic, which is the happiest place on earth. Oh, I mean, it used to be. Now, I guess it's what? Dismal World, or maybe DeSantis World, or he took it over, man.
Look at your watch and you'll know at what time the corporate kingdom finally came to an end.
The governor coined Disney the corporate kingdom, got lawmakers to take away autonomous land governing status, put in his own board members. Firefighters here gifted the governor an axe without acknowledging any metaphor there. DeSantis says this new law ends Disney's decades-old preferential treatment. Opponents, though, see it as punishing a company that defied his gender and race education changes. Even Mike Pence this week on Business Cable called it a bridge too far.
That was beyond the scope of what I, as a conservative, limited government Republican, would be prepared to do.
Today's event included a staged public shaming of the Disney tourism giant.
The Disney content was changing by including and promoting more and more immorality.
The script echoing the governor's grievances with Disney's diversity practices and COVID policies that had defied him.
They were intimidated, harassed, bribed, coerced into taking shots.
The governor named his board replacements 5 political allies and donors, attorneys, a school board member he helped elect, and a self-described born-again minister.
And he's running for president. I don't know if he's announced it yet, but I mean, he's like the number 2 guy. People want to see him behind Trump.
Is he a Republican? I don't know. He's fucking with Disney.
I mean, and to sit there and say that, they're going overboard and promoting, pornographic type material or whatever they're alluding to. I mean, what is Sleeping Beauty? They shouldn't have kissed, huh? Well, you heard how they said. Didn't you catch that? Her remark at the end.
I got it, but I didn't really.
I mean, no, not really. I mean, maybe it's because they made, I don't know, Ariel black. I don't know. I have no idea. Like, remember, and he had a problem with that. Now everything's woke.
I don't like that asshole, man. So, I don't know. I'm like, it's okay to change, man. It's okay to change.
And that's what happened. They protested that whole derogative that he spewed, in regards to the way, they have characters and, they may have had 2 female cartoon characters kiss. I don't know, and I don't care.
What? See, I'm gonna tell you something, man. I don't like people to force their agendas on everybody else. I like just present it and then we roll with it. When you taking something as pure as Disney and then you start incorporating 2 men kissing, 2 women kissing.
I'm not saying that happened, but I mean, and yeah, that is going a tad bit overboard with what Disney is supposedly supposed to present.
Yeah,
I don't think that was Walt Disney's vision.
No, Walt. I think no. See, that's where I support people depending on the good of the. I'm not worried about trying to help grown people grown. I'm like, if you grown and then you are what you are, you can't really heal a grown person because they're what they are. But when you start trying to take these kids and make them racist and make them discriminate and make them hate this person and make them like this and make them want to be, don't just let them, just let people, just let life take its course and stop trying to force all these certain agendas on these children, because these children are not going to grow up and have a healthy, happy life because they're going to grow up with that animosity from what you taught them.
I think they're already a bit confused and conflicted if you think about it,
It starts with your household, man. I don't care what kind of kids you have and what kind of world we live in. Just start with your household. What are you teaching your kids at home? And if they come home with some kind of new idea, what someone taught them, you just dispel that right then and say, for example, my daughter want to play football. I'm like, no, you can't play football. Not because she's a girl, but I'm just saying football. She wants to play football, junior high, high school, and pro football. I'm like, there's no pro football for women. And I told her, I said, listen, I don't know where you got that from, but they got semi-pro football for women. Once you get out of school and go to college and all that, and you want to do that on the side, and once you got a job and you got a full-time job, you want to just play football then, yes. But I'm like, you should not try to pursue football in college and in pros because they don't have it for women.
Right, because I think, Kalana, she's paid right out of her own pocket, right? For that kind of stuff.
Yeah, semi-pro. And I said, if you go play semi-pro football, I'll come support you all day, every day. But I want you got to finish school and finish college and then pursue that as your hobby. But you can't make money doing that. And I told her that. And some people say, you should tell kids they can do anything they want to do. No, you shouldn't. And that's one thing.
No. That's the responsibility of a parent, legal guardian, to responsibly put a vision that is prosperous for that child.
And realistic. And then that's what I'm saying with Disney and with the Republicans. It doesn't matter what people want to put and say in front of your children. You have to be man and woman enough to say, no, that's not right. This is how it is. Mother, father, this is not how we're doing it. You know, we're going to turn this thing around and make everything close to being somewhat equal and then get rid of racism.
Yeah, the morals and values should be instilled by the parents. You're right. You know, this is morally right. This is morally wrong. You know, this is the right thing to do. This is the wrong thing to do.
And
that's mom and dad's job.
Yeah, starts alone. So Disney and politicians, they fighting amongst each other because it's about money.
Oh, obviously. I mean, now that they're probably going to be able part of it. You think about that. Now you brought up a very good point. Now they got how the taxes come in, and now how that, because I know Disney did have their own fire department, own police department. Now that will be absorbed by whatever they call that, some new area they invented.
Yeah. To control.
So
power.
It's all about money and power.
Money and power, yeah. So
and look at the people that he put on the board. Absolutely nothing to do with Disney.
Wasn't it like one brother, like the born again minister, black dude, something like that?
Was he black or white? I don't know.
I think I know they had one black person on the board. So and they said women and men. It was pretty diverse. So that's cool though with diversity. I just hope everybody's qualified that's on the board to make the right decisions and don't destroy Disney. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wait a minute.
Next thing you know,
he appointed all of them, and they had what was it? A donor, a born again Christian.
Yeah, I remember he said born again, renowned.
And I mean, so what kind of influence do you think they're gonna really have? If their ear is gonna be whatever DeSantis tells them that he wants to do.
He found some puppets.
Yeah, that's what that's all about. Just keep it.
Yeah, man. I'm just saying Disney profits is going to drop down so low that Vince McMahon's going to buy it.
I mean, it's just horrible at times. And I mean, I've seen it in other places. What do they call that? When the government can just take over your property, the city can just
they can
take over.
The government can do whatever they want to do. They proved that a long time ago when they had the Civil War and the North said, we doing it this way. The South said, hell no. The North said, yes. We went to war and the North took over. And then there you go. The government owns America. The people don't really own anything.
Well, if you think
about you own some stuff.
Right. You think about it. Wait, isn't that what started the Revolutionary War? Is the English coming in and kicking some of the colonists out of their homes, saying, well, this is a nice place. I think out here it's not.
Yeah. Same thing with the North. Did the same thing. You know what? We got slaves, but you making too much money. We're gonna end that. You need to stop and join us. Hey, basically, the government has did the same thing that the what you just mentioned.
So for about 400 years, we've still had the same issue here around. And
the government did the same thing. So the Indians, they came in. Indians was like, hey, how with these guns? That's how we taking this.
Sheesh.
Yeah, it ain't gonna end. The government take whatever they want to take. So,
and speaking of the government, little greedy asses, Check this out.
One of the last pandemic-era assistance programs is coming to an end. It's called the Expanded Child Tax Credit and Eviction Moratorium. Those have long expired, but by tomorrow, the extra food assistance many people have been getting will be gone. In fact, 42 million Americans receive what's called SNAP benefits. It used to be called the food stamp program. These benefits will be cut by $95 per month or more. And then according to the study for the Urban Institute, the extra SNAP benefits have kept 4.2 million people out of poverty.
Well,
they trusted the Democrats. The Democrats supposed to be the ones to be helping the people out.
Yeah, well, the Democrats, they're outnumbered now. They put it up to the Senate, and the Senate says whack, 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 ain't gonna happen.
I'm kind of torn, man, because I don't get benefits like that. And I tried a couple of times when I was getting out the military. Another time, I got how can I say, I got fired? Not fired. What's the other term when you
laid off?
Laid off from a job when they denied me for these dumb reasons. And but then they say they got like 42 million people using it. You know, to help if they get a job, then maybe they can help them. They ain't got to use SNAP. I've seen some people just abuse it.
Okay.
I've seen people abuse the hell out of that program, not even try to get a job. I've seen some women actually have 4 or 5 kids and then have like a boyfriend that's a hustler. They be standing up in the crib and everything, getting $2,000 with the food stamps, and she ain't trying to get no job.
Okay, what about she doesn't have the boyfriend that's a hustler?
Huh?
What about she doesn't have anybody with her? We got mama at home with 5 kids. And they just cut her stamps in half by 50%.
Okay, but how long are you going to use the stamps? There are people that have food stamps and then they went out and got jobs and got off the stamps. I'm saying, how long are you going to ride that game out? Are you attempting to be off of stamps, or are you just saying, you know what, I'm going to just stay on these stamps, forget about it. Going to get my housing allowance, going to get my stamps. Because who's paying for it, Tim?
But you get into a situation too, is how are you going to deal with these minor children?
Okay, I got another question. When you have one kid, Tim, and it don't go right, what do you do then? Do you have another one and it's still not going right? And then what if you have another one? So you have the 3 kids still ain't going right. Why you having 4? It still ain't going. Why you having 5?
Well, let me throw another into it, since how about the old man? She was married, and the old man skipped out, and he's a bum, or he may be in prison, and you're still not getting a dime.
Okay, now that's a different scenario. But
no, I mean, it has the card. The table has to be level for everybody.
Yeah, you're right about that. I can understand that. I'm saying that some shit like that happens. Like, say that you got the military, or say that something like that happens, or something unfortunate happens where you get laid off or whatever. I'm just saying for real reasons why you need them. I'm talking about the people that are just riding it out. That's not making any effort.
And you're saying there are people that abuse that particular benefit.
Yeah, I'm talking about people that abuse it. When you follow, everybody falls on hard times, and everybody needs some help. Everybody can't.
That's what I'm saying. So I think it's a good program. I'm disappointed that they ended it, and I will concede that you are correct. There are people that will abuse that privilege and probably could do better.
That's why I say I'm torn, because I know people that need it because life happens, and I know people that have been abusing it, and they're not even trying to move on with their life. So that's why I say I'm kind of happy, I'm kind of sad, because like I say, I've been there before, man. I've been my wife and had my daughter, and then got fired from laid off from a job, and it was horrible, man.
It can be, you've got 2 extra miles to feed beside yourself. Can you rely on food banks, the churches, and things like that? Well, yeah, thank God that there are things out there like that. But again, sometimes I think the government's a little hasty before they think things through. That's all I'm saying.
I think a lot of people have been abusing this food stamp thing for a long time.
Well, I mean, they abused this other what was that other crap that all these people got where they were like
PPI loans,
all those loans, those pandemic loans that.
Yeah, man.
So I mean, are you going to have fraud? Let's call it food stamp fraud. Let's call it, relief, whatever. Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, people are people. I mean, look at the top of the show. We talked about reporters doing things that they shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, well, I got a question too, Tim. How come there are no real programs for regular people when they fall on hard times? Say that something happens. You have your husband dies, your wife dies, and that other income was helping y'all stay stable or whatever. A lot of times, because you do have a job and make X amount of dollars, you fall on hard times. There's no programs to help those people. But like I say, then you have the other people that are just using up all these programs we have, and then they just abuse it. So I'm like, they need to find an even way. They need to say you can be on food stamps for X amount of time, and have like rules and regulations. With the VA, it's certain things you have to do to get compensation from the VA. You got to fall under a certain criteria, a certain category. Should do the thing food stamps. I don't think they should get rid of it, but I think they should have a better way to control it and to limit it to people that are on drugs and just beat the system. The system beats us all the time, but I'm just saying make it fair for everybody, not just them. I want to get food stamps too. I want SNAP.
Yeah, I would agree. If you are, perhaps, into the situation that we discussed, that, your spouse for one reason and or the other isn't, helping you financially and you're stuck in there, well, then, hey, or, you could have some type of a disability that limits your ability to get a, well-paying job besides, sitting behind the keyboard, and those are starting to get limited.
But what about disabled veterans? When you getting 50% or more compensation from the VA, how come they don't get the utilization of use SNAP? How come veterans with 100% disability can't get SNAP?
You ask the government that question.
Yeah,
and our viewers can ask the government that same damn question. Why?
Yeah, no, those are female veterans, male veterans. They have kids, they have families. I'm like, well, and it's torture to see someone that is just sitting in the system and riding out and playing.
I mean, they could be missing a limb, or they could have sight issues. They could have hearing issues. They could have.
And they'll say you get a disability check. That's enough. No, you get them food stamps. What about cost of living when it rises and eggs are $10 and a regular family can't afford them anymore? They should have a SNAP program to help a regular family out for food SNAP or whatever on that side. That's what I'm saying. That's why it should be even, not just those bums using it up.
Yeah, there should be an even playing field, and there should be some criteria, and and like for a job loss, something like that. Yeah, there should be a recertification period.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny that the war is breaking off and the government sending all that damn money to Ukraine and everything. Like,
you got to make up with it. And the Fed's going to raise our interest rates again because we're still spending too much money.
Social Security's going to disappear. They're doing all kinds of crap. Oh my God, they're just raping us, man. The government's just stealing everything from us.
I think you should start out with running for mayor of Dallas and then move on into the government and make a difference, Larry.
I need to, Russ.
100% behind you. LE for governor.
I know a lot of people vote for me, at least 90 or 80 of them.
I got at least 90 votes.
Everybody on Facebook, you better vote for me when I run. Your vote.
Hey, man, let's move on to one of our favorite parts. The Asshole of the Week Award. Well, let's see who won this one.
It's shocking video of a customer throwing soup into a restaurant manager's face.
Ooh. The customer ordered a spicy menudo soup. It's a popular Mexican soup, and she claims that it was so hot it actually melted the top of the takeout container.
The incident happened in Temple, Texas. The manager, 24-year-old Janelle Broland, says the woman first called to complain.
And I, of course, offered her refunds and was trying to get her either a replacement meal or just something completely different if she wasn't in the mood for soup anymore. And she just continued to yell.
But the customer showed up to confront her in person. Surveillance video shows the customer pointing to the melted plastic lid.
She just still continued to yell, make a scene. It's still cursing with, families and other children in the restaurant. And that's when I said, ma'am, you either need to calm down or leave, or I'm going to be calling the police. And I said, ma'am, I can still help you and get you something. I just ask that you don't yell and cuss at me. And that's the moment she threw it at me.
When cooked, soup can reach a temperature in excess of 200 degrees. Fortunately, the soup had cooled down when it was thrown into her face. But
She playing that. She planned on throwing that suit, man.
Oh man, when she took the lid off and that.
She saw it coming. Oh, that bitch. That bitch.
I mean, leave it to Texas.
Well, it could have been worse, man. It could have been some feces. I take some menudo to my face, but I don't want no feces in my face.
I would like to give that manager props because she showed exceptional restraint.
Yeah, she was in the wrong part of Texas. She'd have been down in South Oak Cliff for like stop 6.
Yeah, they wouldn't have to worry about anything.
They'd have got beat clean up. You see how she threw in her face and took off real fast. She ain't no fool. Oh, she'd have got beat down. It'd have been a straight beat down because they ain't got no snap no more. So I'm like, you know what? You take my food stamps, you get an ass whooping. Especially hitting the face with menudo.
You know what? You said you brought up Oak Cliff and made me smile. I seen a survey or someplace that they had like Los Angeles, Miami, all kinds of different cities, but the number one happiest place to live, Oak Cliff,
Texas. Everybody smoke a lot of. They do smoke a lot of weed over there, though.
As I'm wondering, I'm like, what part of town did you visit? And I'm not trying to dog Oak Cliff. I'm sorry, but
who did they survey? They must have surveyed the white side of Oak Cliff. I don't know if they went to
I don't know.
The side
yeah,
by
over by the zoo.
That's the bad part of Oak Cliff. They must have stayed on the white side. Or the Hispanic side where they can't speak English.
Yeah, I seen that and it made me smile. I'm like, who the hell did who?
I don't even like driving through Oak Cliff. I'm so pissed off and frustrated. Everything over there is just hooded out.
Isn't it though? It's actually a nice place, but it's just
the local government, the project managers don't want to spend money over there, and they just don't. I ain't saying the people are bad. I'm just saying that you don't want to spend money over there.
No. It's just it's the city. You're right. The city's just letting go.
Yeah, they don't want to spend money. I'm like, when you got a brand new neighborhood and you got stuff that look good and new, it's gonna resonate through your body. You're gonna feel good about your neighborhood and yourself because everything around you is good.
But think about it again. We talked about that too when they were doing the census. God, we've had a lot of shows. And these people that don't get funding for their streets and their schools and everything else, and why are they poor? Well, it's because you decided you didn't want to participate in the census, so they didn't even know you freaking existed.
Right? But when a school wins a state championship in football 2 years in a row or whatever, then they want to have a big old parade and do all this other stuff. I'm like, why don't you spend that energy, use that energy to help this neighborhood now and these schools to bring them up?
You think about that. In Oak Cliff, that's a powerhouse school.
Man, I'm like, it's crazy because all these schools with the lowest funding, and they call them hoods, they have some kids that got very smart kids that could actually give more than what they give, but they can't because they so isolated by lack of resources. And
yeah, but aren't they always in the state finals?
Man, I'm like, bro, there's so much talent down
here. Football and basketball, they make the finals.
Basketball, track, football, and there's a lot of smart kids too. We can't just say they're not intelligent because they are.
So yeah, we just gave Oak Cliff their props. So
some good actors and everything, musicians, Erykah Badu, a lot of people come down here, man. So
Stevie Ray Vaughan's from Oak Cliff. So hey,
man, yeah.
So let's get to the more important part. Blam.
Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Larry Estelle, of course, aka Larry E, and I'm a certified personal trainer. And you can find me on Facebook at LRE Fitness Solutions. We keep you moving. Also on IG, LRE Fitness Solutions. We keep you moving. Check me out, Estelle Junior Larry on both channels. Hit me up. Now I got a few tips for you this week about exercising. Here's a good exercise program to kind of start off with. First thing you want to do is ask your doctor, can you work out? You do not want to go out there and start a program and then you're not ready heart-wise or you're not ready physical-wise. You do not want to hurt yourself, harm yourself more than you can help yourself. And then choose your favorite activities. Make sure you do aerobic activities, something that's going to help your heart and your lungs, because it's very important when you go out there and exercise. You can't just get into heavy weightlifting. You want both of them. Third, you want to make sure you're getting some kind of weight training program that'll add to the aerobic program. So then you're working your heart, your lungs, and your muscles. You're creating a good core and stability as you get older. You age gracefully. And The fourth thing you want to do is make sure you get your good schedule. Make sure that your workout program matches your work schedule, your home schedule, and it matches all the activities that you do along with homework or whatever you do. So make sure you talk to your doctor, do some aerobic exercises, find the ones you like. Make sure you add in some weight training so you can make sure your bones are strong, your muscles are good, and then make sure you plan out properly. Check me out. Instagram, Estelle Junior Larry, LRE Fitness Solutions to keep you moving. Same thing on Facebook. I'm out of there, Tim.
Out of here. Okay. Well, hey, anyhow, you can follow me, Tim McGiffin, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. The easy thing to do is go to www.thequeensillyshow.com and go ahead and you can get in, scroll down and get into our email list. And more importantly, if you want to catch up on Larry and I's old episodes, go to YouTube and drop in again The Queen Silver Show, and that's where we store all our videos as well as some other shows that I'm with. And you're going to love the content while you're there. Please subscribe. Anyhow, I always like to come up with a couple of quotes, and this one is from Albert Einstein. Albert says, "A person who has never made a mistake has never tried anything." And Henry Ford, "Whatever you think you can do or can't do, you're right."
Say that last part again, Tim.
Whatever you think you can do or can't do, you're right. You made that decision, right?
Yeah, you have to think about that one. That's fly.
Henry was a smart man. Check this out. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost more than 300 games 26 times. I've been trusted, or 26 times rather, I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I failed over and over and over again in my life. And that's why I succeed. Michael Jordan.
I was just going to say, yeah, it's going to be Michael Jordan, Jerry West, somebody big. Got to be somebody big, yeah. So you got to keep going, man.
And from Ben Franklin, one of the inventors, we can talk about him. He said, "I didn't fail the test. I just found 100 ways to do it wrong."
You're right. That's how I am. Bro, I'm so confident. Sometimes people hate me. They're like, he's arrogant. He thinks he's all that. I said, no, bro. You got to understand, I come from humble beginnings. I done had a lot of failure. I done messed up so bad that I couldn't look at myself in the mirror so many times. So I'm like, you got to keep going and just learn to love yourself. You're right, Tim. Especially fitness.
Yeah.
You got it. Fitness
you
is
have
very
to believe, this as they that first one, if you think you can, or if you think you can't, you're right. You have to have positive. I can do this. And if you stay positive and you focus, and as you say, you're focusing on, small things, on increments, getting yourself healthy, at least do something to start to achieve that goal. And then that starts to do what is that little engine? I think I can, and I can.
Yep. A healthy body makes a healthy mind. Your body and mind works together. If your body's not healthy, your mind's not going to be healthy. Then if your mind's not healthy, it's going to let your body going to be healthy. You really, really got to work on both together.
The two work together. You're 100%.
And the knowledge you're giving is great because you got to have wisdom. Without wisdom, you will never have anything, man.
That's why I love listening to those, or, reading those quotes. It makes you think and, kind of put it into perspective about where you're at and say, that applies in a lot of different ways. And, stimulate your mind once in a while besides, the gaming system.
Yeah, can't do that all day.
Not all day, folks. We got to get out there. That's some of the problem with our youth. Mom and dad, again, we said,
you got to be the game. Don't play the game. Don't play the game. You got to be the game.
You're right. Hey, man, I think we are. Yeah, let's get out of here. It is at the top of the hour. So until next week, you know what? Larry and I are so out of here. Peace.